Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So can everybody hear me okay? Just want to make sure everything's working fine. Okay, great. Well, let's get started. So let's see what we can get done today. Today, we should be able to finish the game. So if you just started up Pico 8 and it looks like this, then we're going to type load drops and hit enter. Adya, what password did you forget? You shouldn't need a password for Pico 8 unless it's for your computer or something like that. Oh, if you already have it installed, you don't need to download it again. If you have it installed, you can just run it same way you ran it last time, and it should work fine. You won't need to. Oh, you have a new laptop. Oh, okay. Well, when you put in your email address, when you went to go redeem the code, it would email you a link to that page where you can go download it again. So you should have an email with the same, with the link to that download page again. All right, so we're going to get started here. And again, I will do another video at the end of this class so that everybody can follow this along, even if you miss anything. So Adya, for instance, if you don't get Pico 8 installed in time, don't worry. You can still follow the video afterward and still get everything done. And there were a couple questions on things we could add. And I'll probably add those to the video. Adya, the problem is that I can't just give you the same redeem code because that code has already been used. So if you try to redeem it again, it says, oh, it's already been used. So that's why it sends you a link in your email that you typed in to get to it. So that's why if I send it to you again, it's the same. It'll just do the same thing. But let me, Adya, after this, let me help you with the, help you get set up because we do have a lot we need to get done today. And Anjali, yes, we can do a Zoom call after this to get anyone help that needs help. Okay, so let's get started. Yes, we will do a Zoom call, Anjali, right after this. Okay, so if we started out and you load up Pico 8 and you type load drops, it will be right there, and then you hit escape, and you should be back into where we left off last time. And that sounds good, Milo. Can't wait to see. And if we run it with Command R or Control R, we can race back and forth on our screen and we don't go off the screen. So now we need to make some things to drop from the sky so that we can catch them and get some scores. And if we miss them, we'll lose some lives. So hit escape and then escape again. And so what we need to do is, the first thing we need to do is make it so that we have something to drop. Okay, so we're going to go to the Sprite Editor. And I'm only going to make 2 things to drop right now because I don't want to take a lot of time making sprites because I'm going to let you go crazy making sprites after we're done with the code. You can make as many sprites as you want, but I'm just going to do a couple things for right now. Okay, so I'm going to make like a sort of like plum thing. And I'm going to make that and we'll see what that looks like and if it looks any good. And then maybe I'll add some shading on the side like this. Maybe not like that. Maybe just, yeah, maybe just there. And then add a little bit of sparkle right here. And then maybe, maybe I'll just leave it like that. Okay, so that's like a little plum thing. And, oh, that's cool, Aiden. Aiden made a pear and a banana. That's a good idea. All right, now I'm gonna also make, I'm gonna make a slice of pizza. How's that? Here we go. Let's make some pizza. And then we'll add, because it's, you know, it's cheese, so we got to like add some cheesy bits. There we go. We've got a piece of pizza. And so we'll have pizza and a plum. And so we've got two things. Now I want you to notice where these are. These are at sprites 2 and 3. You can make as many as you want, but for now we're just going to make 2 because I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that because I'll show you how you can make as many as you want and just keep adding them. So we're working with 2 and 3 right now, sprites 2 and 3. So now let's go to our code, and up in the init function, up at the very, very top, let's go to the end of the first init line and hit enter a few times so that we can make some space. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a list of things called things. And we're going to use curly brace, okay? Remember the curly braces are next to the P key, shift, and then the keys next to the P key. And this says, this is a variable that's going to hold a lot of things, not just one thing like score holds one thing or lives holds one thing. This is going to hold a lot of things, okay? And then what we're going to do is make another, this will hold all the things that are dropping from the sky. But then we have to have another thing that's a list of the sprites for those things. So we're going to say thing sprites equals curly brace. And then we're going to list all the sprites that are our things. So in this case, I have sprites 2 and 3. Now, let's say you already made a bunch of things to drop from the sky. You could do, sprite 6 and sprite 9 and sprite, 23 and sprite 11. But so you could just keep adding to this list as much as you want of all the different sprites that you've made that you want to drop from the sky. But I just have sprites 2 and 3. That's all I have right now. So that's all that's in my list of things. And so I say things underscore sprites, and then you have to use the curly braces, okay? So this makes our list of thing sprites. And then we set a thing timer. Oops. Thing underscore timer. And this is going to be a timer that we use to tell when to drop the next one, okay? So we have things, curly brace, things sprites with a curly brace, and then the list separated by commas of all the sprites that we're going to use, and then an ending curly brace, and then thing timer, which is set to 0, okay? Alrighty, so now I'm going to let everybody type that in. I'm going to give everybody a minute to type that in, because then we're going to make a whole new code tab, and we're going to put some things in there. So in the video, I will add some things, just extra things, like maybe how to make it go faster over time, or if I have time to do it, I'll add some things like, oh, if you have some bad things to drop, then it'll drop bad things too that you have to avoid. But I don't know if I'll have time to do that. I may have to just make a third video that follows up with that, and I might have to like send that tomorrow or something like that. But I'll try to include things like that. Jumping, that might be a good idea. Yeah, maybe jumping. Okay, so I'm going to assume everybody's got all this typed in, and we're going to move on to the next thing right here. What I'm going to do is I'll make a screenshot of this and put it onto the page here so that you can follow along with it in case you didn't get it typed in time. Let me get a little bit smaller here. Okay, 1 second. I'll put that up here. So in case you need to, it's up there for you to see. Okay, so let's keep going. So I'm going to make a new sprite or a new code tab. So I'm going to click up here, and we're going to make a new code tab. Yes, we will be adding sound today. Don't worry. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to make a function to drop things. Okay, so let's make a function called drop thing. And don't forget to put end. So drop underscore thing and parenthesis. Okay, really important. The bottom of the 0 tab. We didn't add anything, but this is what's there. There's not really. I'll make a screenshot of it, but there's not much extra beyond We didn't change anything today. Hold on one second. But I will put a screenshot here. Actually, I think we can even, you know what we can do? This will be even better. Hold on one second. I'm just going to do this. There we go. Now, look at that. It's just like a super long Pico 8 screen. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay, here we go. So now on our second tab here, or it's actually our third tab, it's just called tab 2. So we have a function called drop thing, and we need to use this function to make new things. So we're going to say T, which is going to stand for just a thing, parenthesis or curly brace, T equals curly brace, and that says T is going to store a few different things, not just one thing. And then we're going to say T.x equals rand, that's for random, 120. So it's going to pick a number between 0 and 120 for how far across should this thing show up. So it might be here, but it might be all the way here or anywhere in between. So the x is going to be random, how far over is going to be random. Then T.y is actually going to be -8. And the reason we do -8 is because 0 is at the top of the screen. So -8 is actually past the top of the screen and off the screen. So it actually starts above the screen. And then we're going to say T.s equals random thing sprites. Now what this does is this goes to our list of thing sprites and picks a random one. So if you remember, back in, I guess it's up here, we have this list of thing sprites, and it's got 2 and 3 in it. So it's going to pick a random one of those, and then it's going to stick it into T.s. So that's a really handy way to get a random thing to drop. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add to our list of things. We're going to add T, which is this thing we just made. We're going to add T to our list of things. Now, once we've dropped, now that's effectively dropping something. We make a new thing in our list of things, but now we need to reset our timer. So we're going to say thing timer equals 20 plus a random number between 0 and 15. Now what this does is, remember, the game updates 30 times a second, okay? So this is, how do you make the blue and the -8? It should already be blue. If it's not showing up blue, I'm not sure why you wouldn't get it blue. It should be blue, but if it isn't and your game still works, that's okay. I think they made a change, because I think it used to be that this used to be separate from this, and now it recognizes that, oh yeah, these are just together. So if it's white and not blue, it's not that bad. It's okay. So what this does is, remember, the game updates 30 times a second. And if it's updating 30 times a second, that means if our timer counts from up to 20, that's 2/3 of a second, okay? And then if we add a little bit of random, so 15 is half a second, because it goes 30 times per second. So 15 would be half a second. So what I'm doing is saying 2/3, at least be 2/3 of a second apart. And then we're going to add a little bit of random time extra, so that they're not always like bum, 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 bum. It's like bum, 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 bum. So it's not like all coming down at the exact same speed. There's like a little bit of change between each one before it drops again. So that way it'll just make it a little more interesting. But what this means is that the least amount of time you'll get is 20 updates before the next thing drops. And the most time you'll get is 35 updates before the next thing drops. So 1 is just a little bit less than 1 second, and 1's a little bit more. Okay, so now that's how we drop a thing from the sky. But now we actually, it's not actually dropping yet. It's just we made it up at the top of the sky. So now we actually need to tell it every time the game updates, I want you to move it a little farther down, a little farther down, a little farther down. So we're going to make a function called moveThing. And this one, actually, we need to put not leave the parentheses empty. We're going to put a T in here because this says, if we send moveThing a thing, T, then do something with T. So we want to do something with every single thing. So we're going to make a function where if we give it one thing, it will do something with that thing. So we're going to say, okay, if you give me T, which is a thing for moveThing, then I'm going to say T.y. Remember, y is how far up and down that thing is, plus equals 1. So that's going to add 1 to T's y number every single time the game updates, okay? And then we're going to say, oh, well, so not just yet, we're going to do something here. But this will move the thing down. Every time the game updates, the thing will move down, okay? And then we're going to come back to this in just a sec, all right? So I'm going to give everybody a chance to type all this in. I'm going to save it so that everybody can see it. One second here. I'm going to put this over here so that everybody can see. This is our drop thing and move thing functions. Okay, so I'm going to give everybody a minute to finish typing all this in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to tab 0. Okay, and if you're not done, don't worry, you can just finish typing in this stuff here and then it'll still be there. So I'm going to go back to tab 0. Now, up at the top, we have our update function. Okay, so here's update, and we're saying if the game's not over, then move the player. But we need to do more than just move the player. Okay, so I'm going to click on the beginning of move player, and I'm going to hit enter a few times. Okay, so we just move the move player down a bit. So we have if, and then a bunch of space, and then move player. And in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if parenthesis, and I'm going to go inside the parentheses, and I'm going to say if thing underscore timer is less than 0. So if thing timer gets less than 0, then we should drop thing. Okay. Now, I want to make sure you don't miss the end parenthesis there. It's just off the screen, but don't forget that it's there. Okay. So if thing timer is less than 0, drop thing. And then you have to put both parentheses on drop thing. Okay. On the end of drop thing. Don't forget that. Then we're going to say, so after we drop thing, we need to make sure we still count down thing timer. So we should say thing timer minus equals 1. So we're always counting down thing timer. And then if it gets to less than 0, we'll drop something. But this way, we're always counting down. And then what we need to do is we need to go update every single thing. And this is using something that we haven't used yet. And I'm going to explain how it works. We're going to type for each, and then we're going to say for each things move thing. Now, this takes a little bit of explanation what this is doing. This is a function called for each, where if you give it a list of things, because you remember we have a list of things. We have this things list that holds all the things that are dropping from the sky. So we go through this whole list, and what we're going to do is we're going to say for each item in this list, send it to move thing. And you notice we don't have parentheses on the end of move thing. We have parentheses for the end of this, but this is a special way of doing this where we just say, go through every item in things and send it to a function called move thing. Okay, this is really important that you write this correctly. So for each parenthesis, things, comma, move underscore thing, and then an end parenthesis. So what this means is that take all the items and things and send each one for each item and things, send it to move thing. And what that does is that takes each item and sends it here into move thing. And it sends it into this right here. So then we can take that item, each item, and add one to its Y coordinate. So this is how we get them to move every time the game updates. We send all the things to the move thing function. One at a time, we send each one to the move thing function. Okay. So we have that. Yes, I will take a screenshot of this. Now, one thing I don't want you to forget that there's an extra parenthesis right on the edge here. You have to remember to put that extra parenthesis on drop thing. Okay, so I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Second. I'm going to put that up here. Okay. All right. So now we have a way to update all of the things, and we have a way to make new things, and we have a way to move them, but we don't have a way to draw them yet. So we need to do that. So we're going to go back to tab 2. And we're going to make a new function called draw thing. Oh, good. I'm going to get rid of the tab 0 thing here. Actually, well, I'm just going to leave it up there for now. That's fine. So we're going to make a new function called draw thing. Okay. And this function's really easy. We just say, oh, sorry, you have to put a T here. So this is really important. Say draw underscore thing, parenthesis, T, parenthesis. It's just like move thing where we take one thing and we're going to do something with it. Okay. So in this case, we're going to do SPR for draw sprite at T.S. So T.S is which sprite we're going to draw. Remember, we set that randomly up here. When we make a thing, we set T.S to some random item. So we're going to draw that random item right here, and we're going to draw it at comma T.X, comma T.Y. Okay? And that's it. That's all we need to do the draw thing. We just say draw sprite at T.S, draw sprite T.S at T.X, T.Y. Okay? Really important. Really easy. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of this and replace it with the other one so that you can see. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put that over this one here. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clear these out for a sec. And then I'm going to put this one down here. And I'm going to put this one up here. Okay, here we go. So now that we have draw thing, we need to go back to tab 0. And every time we go to draw things using the draw function, we need to tell it, okay, so after you draw the player, now, for each item in things, draw things. So what this does is this says go through each item in the things list and send it one at a time to draw thing. That's what this does. For each parenthesis things, comma, draw thing. Really simple. That just goes in the draw function. For each things in that list, draw thing. You can't see what's in the top right of the screenshot. How about there? Is that better? Adya, yes, but send me an email. Send me an email so that I can help you get that sorted out, okay? Don't worry, there will be a video of all the things we're doing here afterward. But send me an email so I can help you get that redeem code thing sorted out, okay? New move to the right. Oh, I see. Is it? Here, let's do this. Let's do this one. Hold on. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Sorry. Having a tough time here. Here's the draw thing one. And then close idea. Hold on one sec. It's actually this. I'm sending it to you now. Okay. Henry, you just may need to change the size of your window. I think that's what's happening, is you just need to change the size of your Zoom window. Okay. So has everybody got this in their draw function? Okay, good. Henry, I'm going to put this over here, but I got to be able to put things over here too. So I think you need to change the size of your window. Okay, so let's see. One second. Which was the other thing you needed to see? Is it this one? Hold on, let me see. Is it this one? Okay, there you go. Lucas, we were writing a bunch of code. So if you missed any of it because you got logged out, then just keep following along and just keep watching what we're doing so you kind of see what we're doing. But then there will be a video afterwards so that you can catch back up and follow along. Well, Henry might need to come out of full screen so that you can change the size of the window. Oh, I see what she's saying on the game over part. On that part, there's just a parenthesis or (7) parenthesis. That's it. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's just (7) parenthesis. That's it. But that's code that we already did. Oh, that's weird. Good to know, Hartley. Okay. All right, so we need to finish this up. We're almost done. Henry, you're gonna have to see me later then, because I gotta move on here. On the thing timer. Oh, it's just one parenthesis. That's it. Literally just one single parenthesis, and that's all. There's nothing else after that. Okay, so hold on one sec. So I gotta move on because we got a lot of people to get fixed up here. So if we run it right now, save it, Control S, and then run it, you should see this. If you don't, then we're going to fix something, okay? If they're going sideways, so if they're going sideways, then you need to make sure in the move thing that you're doing t.y plus equals 1, not t.x. So it's got to be t.y, okay? Just t.y, not t.y and t.x, just t.y. That's all, okay? Sylvester, you have to tell me what you need help with. The other thing is, if you have things like the eraser falling, then what you need to do is you need to make sure I'm trying to think why you might be getting one sec. Adya, yes. Let's see. Let me just check real quick and see if I got your message. I have not gotten it yet. But the Zoom info that I sent you yesterday, you can use that same Zoom info after this. Yes, Anjali, I will go to tab 0, line 2. You need to make sure these are curly braces. Okay, now here's the thing. So if you're getting an eraser sprite, there's Henry, what do you mean line 0? There isn't a line 0. It starts at line 1. Okay. So here's the thing. If you're getting an eraser sprite, you need to make sure you're using curly braces here. Curly braces 2, 3. And you need to say thing underscore sprites. And then the other thing is that okay, so then it looks like we're getting a lot of people with a bunch of random different things. Okay, so hold on, I'm trying to sort out which ones to solve first here. If you're getting eraser sprites, we're going to solve eraser sprites first, okay? So we're do that one thing at a time. So if you've got another problem, you're going to have to wait for just a second. So thing sprites is the name of the thing that holds the list of sprites. And you have to make sure that over here in tab 2, where you say t.s equals rand parenthesis thing underscore sprites. You have to have it have the same name, okay? So it should say rnd parenthesis thing underscore sprites, okay? Okay, sorry, one sec. I'm just reading through all the questions here. There's a couple that are, there's a couple answers that are kind of messing up, and I'm trying to clear them out. Sorry about that. Okay, so the question answer thing for Zoom is not working quite correctly. So I'm trying to sort out what people have asked and what people haven't asked. Okay, so the Aiden, I'm going to try to answer your question. That you didn't see what was in the bracket for drop thing. In drop thing, hold on back here. Oh, so here's the thing that you have to have in your update function. So if parenthesis thing underscore timer is less than 0. Now this less than is the shift and then the key right next to M. Less than 0, parenthesis, drop underscore thing, parenthesis, parenthesis. You have to put parenthesis, parenthesis at the end. I know it's hard because it's off the edge of the screen. Okay, good. And Henry, I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Henry, it sounds like you weren't caught up from yesterday with what we covered on in the video from yesterday. So I think that's where you were running into some trouble. So I want to put this over here. Actually, wait. I'm going to put this one up here. There we go. Okay. Yep, hold on one second. I'm going to try to help everybody fix their problems with their eraser sprites. So here's the thing with the eraser sprites. Some of you may be getting this if you installed Pico 8 like a month or so ago and then haven't updated. And so I'm going to put something here. Only if you get eraser sprites, then you should write this, okay? T.S equals thing underscore sprites This is going to be a little bit complex, so you just got to bear with me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this code into, hold on, let me just make sure that this works. Hold on one sec. I'm just going to test something here. Good. Just want to make sure that that works. But I'm going to put this into the answer, and this is only if you're getting eraser sprites, okay? So I'm going to put this as an answer, and then you can just type that in. I put it as one of the answers for I keep getting eraser sprites. Okay, you're gonna have to type that in. I know that's really not very easy and it is a little bit complex, but unfortunately, that's the best way we have to do it. So you should type it right here. So only if you're getting eraser sprites, then make sure you type this here and make sure you don't type this one here. But if you're not getting eraser sprites, you should have this here. And I think what it is, I think some people have an older version of Pico 8 and this part's not working for them. And I'm not sure why. But I think that's what's happening with your eraser sprites. And so that, so if you're getting eraser sprites, that's what you should have. The other thing is you have to make sure you do thing underscore sprites and make sure that your list of sprites has curly braces, number, comma, and then ending curly brace. And it says thing underscore sprites here. And make sure it says thing underscore sprites. And that here, it also says thing underscore sprites. Make sure those all match. Yeah, if make sure, because sometimes you might forget an S after sprites and say like thing sprite instead. And you have to put thing sprites. And then the other thing you have to do is under draw thing, make sure you do T.S. Okay. And you have to make sure you put a T in here too. Make sure you put a T in between the parentheses on draw thing. We actually end off in about 5 minutes, Nate, but I'm going to be doing a Zoom call with people right after this so that we can help everybody individually as needed. And then I'll also be sending a video with the rest of what we're going to try to do today, because we got kind of hung up on everybody getting eraser sprites. And I still want to add, you know, so you can actually catch the things and add sound so that when you catch them or don't catch them, and if you run out of lives, it ends. Yes, you can, Milo. Yeah, the fruit looks good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up, but I understand that some people are still having trouble. So what we're going to do is I have a Zoom call that I'm going to be starting right after this, and I'm going to put the Zoom information into the answers so that you can all see it. Let me just pull it up real quick. And then we'll get everybody's stuff individually figured out here. All right, Sylvester, we'll get you sorted out. Don't worry. Hold on 1 second. I'm just getting the Zoom info here. Okay. So I'm going to put this as an answer to Milo's question of, can I join the Zoom call? And I'm going to say, here's the info. So I just put the info in the answers, in the Q&A answers. So you can see the Zoom info, okay? So go ahead and copy that. And everybody can join that Zoom link after this. And I will help everybody just, you know, individually just to get everything sorted out. But what you should be able to get up to right now is where you have things dropping from the sky. Right now you won't be able to catch them, but at least we'll have things dropping from the sky, okay? And then what we'll do, as I'll do as part of the video, is the next step is I'll show you how to make it tell whether you catch something or don't catch something. And if you catch something, it adds to your score, but if you don't catch something, it subtracts from your lives. And if you run out of lives, then it's game over. So, and we'll make it so it plays sounds when you catch things and sounds when you don't catch things. So everybody will get a video on how to add those last steps. So don't worry about that. But if you're having trouble getting to this point right here, then go ahead and then join that Zoom call. And then I will, I'll be in there as soon as we hit end on this call. And then we will get everybody sorted out one by one. Okay. All right, so I think we're just about running out of time. The other thing is I'm going to put up my email address on the screen too. So there's my email address. If for some reason you couldn't get the Zoom call or you just need me to email you the Zoom info, just send an email to this address, dylanb, D-Y-L-A-N-B @delphian.org, D-E-L-P-H-I-A-N, and I'll be happy to just send you the Zoom info. And then also you should look for an email from me from that address. I'll be sending the video of what we're doing today and all the extra steps to wrap it up for everybody to be able to follow. And then by the end, we should have a finished game and we should be all set. All right, so I've got to end off now, but thank you everybody for joining. Even if after this class is over, you still have questions or you need help on something with Pico 8, you can always email me. I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you for joining, everybody. Sorry we didn't get to the very end of this game, but like I said, you'll get a video in your email that will give you all the rest of the steps. And also then you can use that video whenever you want if you just want to like walk through it and pause and take it slower, however you want. Okay. I'm going to end off now, and I will see you all in the Zoom call for whoever needs help.